Menu creativity. You came to Las Vegas, Nevada to learn about something, and you have chosen to be better than you were when you walked in that door a few minutes ago, and I guarantee you that will occur. Going to a seminar right out the gate. A seminar says, I don't know everything. I'm going to tell you something if you don't know this about the industry. Not everyone has that level of self-awareness. You, on the other hand, have said, I might not know everything, which means that you're in a much stronger position to learn something, which means that the way you will be tomorrow will be better than you were yesterday, ergo growth. You are either growing in this business or you are dying in this business. A lot of people believe that they're growing or that they're doing great when they're staying stable. That is death. They are dying. You have already chosen to come into a room and learn something. Therefore, by that alone, also, for the benefit of all those with flash photography, I will pose right now for any photos that you wanted to take. I have action, I have happy, I have fortuitous, all prepared right now. We'll just get that out of the way so it's not flashes, flashes upon flashes and flashes throughout the next hour. Again, you chose a seminar, therefore you're better. Kudos to you. My guarantee is simply that you will learn something. I learned something every single time I enter the realm of trying to learn. I go to a restaurant that might super suck. I still learn what not to do. My hope is you don't learn what not to do today. Nonetheless, I guarantee you will learn something. I am going to start with what I typically close with. Typically, I close with this. I'm going to give you the crescendo out the gate. In this business, you are either impressive or by default, you are unimpressive. I will repeat, you are either impressive or by default, you're unimpressive. You had a staff member who showed up with their shoes tied. They brushed their teeth. Their shirt doesn't have holes in it. They showed up to work on time. Was that impressive? Yes or no? I heard 3 people. Yes or no? Some people, if you said yes, you're thinking, well, they did everything right. Great. It's still unimpressive. You didn't impress me. I'd say, wow, the way that employee showed up to work on time with their shoes tied, that kid's on the fast track. You don't think like that. Your customer doesn't think that way either. If you go to a restaurant this week and it's not impressive to you, then next year when you come to Pizza Expo, you're not going back. Was there anything wrong with it? No, it was perfectly fine. They brought me my drinks. The check came out. How was the server? I don't really remember them. How was the food? It was good. That's just as bad as the server came, slapped you around, insulted your mother, because in both situations, you're not going back. They could have done, you're like, no, that place was horrible. In fact, in the situation where they slap you around, it's kind of better because you got a story out of it. A lot of people are under the misconception that if they just don't suck, they're going to be successful. And by doing that, you kind of do suck. So we're going to talk about how to make an impressive menu, make an impressive restaurant, and take your restaurant to the next level today. Again, if you're not impressive, if someone doesn't walk away saying that was great because of X, Y, and Z, you're unimpressive and you will die a fiery pizza death. Here is a logo. This is the original Apple computer logo. This is also Sir Isaac Newton. So Apple being an apple dropping on his head, and that's how he discovered gravity. I don't think that's how he actually discovered gravity, because gravity already existed. It's not as if everyone was floating and then Sir Isaac Newton discovered gravity and then everyone just went back to the ground. Gravity had existed the whole time. He just defined it. Menu theory, it exists. You already are aware of it subconsciously, but you need to know what works and what doesn't definably. So let's talk about definables. Before that, let's learn more about me. I'm a kid who started in this industry at 22. I am not a kid anymore. I sat in these chairs at the age of 23 because I didn't know about Pizza Expo when I was 22, and then went back to my restaurant, not able to afford the hotel practically, scrounging up dollars, taking the monorail, sitting in the seats and saying, change this, do this, blah, 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 blah. And now I don't have to do that, which is nice. But taking what I learned at Pizza Expo and operating my store, so it grew and doubled. And then when it doubled, it then opened a second store. The second location became really popular, opened a third, fourth, fifth, opened 2 gelaterias. It just kept growing. Everyone starts with one store. No one starts with multiple. But you got to start with one store and know that you're learning from it. The reason I lived in California and New York and now Tulsa throughout my life is I would come from a Marine Corps family. There it is. I was in the Marines as well as an officer candidate, and because of type 1 juvenile diabetes, I'm no longer in the Marine Corps, which is a benefit to my people that come to my restaurant because they get to enjoy my cheese on bread as a result of my illness. So I have multiple styles of restaurants, multiple styles of pizza, and as I said earlier, to the people who are in this room, by default, you don't have an ego because you said, hey, let's learn something. Ego gives you nothing. Saying I'm the best is the weakest statement you can say in this industry. Assuming that you might not know something or looking to learn more is how you develop and how you create and how you grow. USP, unique selling proposition, unique selling point. It's called many things. It's been around for longer than I've been in the game. Here's my take on USPs. You do not need a parachute to skydive. That is a fact. That is an absolute fact. If you don't know that, I'm telling you right now, you do not need a parachute to skydive. You do need a parachute to skydive twice. This business will kick you in the ass. If you think you're doing great now, you're not. Because if you have that thought, you're obviously not second guessing things, and that's how you grow. So if you think everything's going according to plan, probably isn't, and you probably have an ego. You don't need to be unique to survive today. You do need to be unique to survive tomorrow. Your restaurant is not going to close today. Your restaurant is not going to close in the next 6 months. Your restaurant's going to do just fine. And just fine kind of sucks. Kind of sucks is not how you build a business. Let's talk about some unique selling points. What is my unique selling point? Here's regular ketchup, and to the right, I have fancy ketchup. You can see it's fancy because it has a top hat and a monocle. It's fancy. Fancy ketchup is not a unique selling point. Home of the hot pizza is not a selling point. You need to have an array of selling points, great selling points, things that are different, things that are special. A standard menu that you have seen a bajillion times before is not unique. As human beings, we're pre-programmed to want to fit in. You all went to junior high. Yeah, you don't want to stand out. Well, your restaurant kind of needs to, but you might have the natural inclination to, okay, well, I'll put this on the menu and I'll put a photo on the wall of Venice and we'll play Sinatra and we'll do the same thing because that's what you do when you open a restaurant that's pizza and just and that's what I should do, right? Because that's what you do when you open a pizzeria. Don't do that. It's not unique. Unless you really love that song or me singing it, which I can record to you for a nominal fee. Menu theory, let's get into it. When it comes to menu theory, we're going to go review over the basics. The I will go to the right. You want to have big sellers where they count. You want to know the flow of your meal. And you want to have certain information on the page that might not be obvious, but legally you will have to have on there. Let's break down each one of those. So you can see naturally in a 3-panel or any piece of paper, typically, the I will go to the top right. Top and to the right. Top and to the right. That's a JFK joke for a lot of you. Enjoy that. All right, then it'll go down, then it'll go back to the left, to the appetizers, then back down, then go to the kind of back to center. So what does that mean to you? Why do we care? Well, certain things that you want to have be big movers, theoretically, if you want them to move and you want your prime item would be in the top right. I go center, then goes to the top right. It's just science. I don't know why it does what it does. The brain just does that. Know that first so you can model your menu. Pop items. When it comes to doing a menu with items that pop on it, there is a lot of differing theories on why or when to do that. You should have things that you want to sell, but depending on where you're located and what style of pizza you're going for, as well as your demographic, will determine how kitschy your menu should be versus how defined. If you have a restaurant customer base that is a career restaurant base, you should not play these games. I will define that. That means a New York restaurant that has people that go out to eat every night of the week, not tourists, but in a place where it's every night of the week, it's people going out and they get the restaurant menu seen. Don't play a lot of games. It kind of is insulting to the customer. But if you're in a bedroom community and you really want to sell this one item, there's nothing wrong with putting a box around it, putting it in bold, having that pop out, because that's the thing that you want people to buy. Stars. This is Giada in Vegas. Even though this is a very nice restaurant, it's still in a tourist trap of a city. This is a tourist trap of a city, if you didn't know that. There is a box in the middle. There's highlights. There's icons. Again, gravity. You've all seen this before, but if you debated, should I do that or should I not do that? I'm here to tell you, if you really want to sell a specific item, if you put a box around it, the science is real. It will sell more. If you want to appeal to a gluten-free demo, then a GF gets the point across. With that being said, GF is a very dangerous term nowadays. You know it's not? Gluten-friendly. Gluten-free is the absence of gluten, the evil glutenin, the thing that ruins lives and families. There is gluten-friendly, which just says, hey, buddy, maybe some gluten shows up, maybe it doesn't. I don't know, man. People with celiac disease have a legit issue. And if they come into my restaurant and they're like, is this a gluten-free pizza? I'll say yes, it's gluten-friendly, but you're also in a highly glutinous environment. You know, if you're highly allergic to something, maybe you don't go where that item is thrown in the air on a consistent basis. People that are looking to just have a gluten-free diet, gluten-friendly appeals to that. They both are GF. It works fine. You could put a GF, but at the bottom you're going to want to write something in that says gluten-friendly. There's no one that's going to really sue you over it, but you kind of get to say, hey, you know, we said it's gluten-friendly. We can't guarantee gluten-free, because to do that would mean you had a completely separate kitchen with completely sanitized in a separate way, forks, knives, cutters, and you could do that as much as you want to try to do it. To guarantee it is an impossibility. There are 3 elements to a restaurant. 3. There's 3 elements to everything in business. In restaurant, the 3 are food, service, and ambiance. Even any business for that matter, Amazon, it's product, service, and ambiance. And when I say Amazon, what's the ambiance? The website that you've seen and you understand is ambiance. The product that whatever product, because Amazon sells everything, and then the service that you know that you basically have an unspoken relationship and agreement that these people aren't going to not send you the product. That's a service. Now, inside your restaurant, food, service, and ambiance. These are the things that need to be tight so that your menu hits the customer well. The odds are highly likely that you are doing one of these impeccably. The odds are also highly likely that you're kind of okay on a second one and that you're not doing so great on a third. Your goal, if you're self-analyzing right now, should be, what is the third and how am I working on that, and how is the next 3 days in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada going to teach me something so I go back and come Friday, I'm on a path to fixing the third. Food, perfect, unique, and at the right price. The right price. The right price is not what you think it is. It's what the perception to the customer is, that they feel that they got a value. Going back to Apple, is Apple having any problem selling computers? No, they're doing quite well. But people say, oh, it's a really expensive computer. Did you buy it? Yes. Did you feel you got chipped? No, it's a great computer. So is it an expensive computer? No, it's just priced right. That's how you need to look at your menu. Service. Enjoyable, knowledgeable, and fast. If your servers do not upsell, then you would be better off having an iPad kiosk, because at least that knows how to upsell and say, ranch on the side? If your servers don't know how to do that, you might have extremely friendly servers. Friendly servers are fantastic. They also need to do experience-driven selling. They shouldn't be, bringing an extra beer before the person's even finished their first one when they didn't ask for it, but they should be experience driven. Oh, this is my favorite beer. This is so good. It complements that really well. I love that, but there's also this one. They're passionate. They dig the product. That makes the customer want to jump on the passion train and makes it more likely for them to purchase. People love to be around passion. It's contagious. You know what also is contagious? Apathy. It's okay. That's okay. All right. Well, we'll get something else. Passion leads to more passion. Apathy leads to more apathy. None of you in this room ever got super stoked to watch a documentary on someone who kinda is good at sushi. Many of you probably saw Hero Dreams of Sushi about a guy getting up at 4:45 in the a.m. to check the rice and the fish, and you're like, wow, that's an interesting story about sushi. No one cares about unpassionate or apathetic people. So your servers need to stop being too cool for school and get on the train of your restaurant and be excited about your product. If they're not, you need to part ways. And if you're curious, how do you get that point across? Role playing. You sit down like you're a customer, they talk about the product, and now, because I can make you the most gorgeous menu in the history of time, menus better than they had 10,000 years ago. They didn't have 10,000 years ago menus. You get the point. If they're not selling what you have, it doesn't matter. Ambiance, it's clean and nice. When it comes to menu theory, your menu needs to sell your food, be a part of your ambiance, i.e. it matches your brand, and provide a service to the customer. Keeping in mind that the enemy of what can be accomplished is acceptance and settling for what we've already accomplished. If you're pretty happy with where you're at, you're not growing. Physical menu. So here are some classics. These are the heavy hitters. We have the slide-in pouch. The slide-in pouch, you buy it at any restaurant supply store. Maybe it has the little brass corners. Those are fun. We have it's got like a binder edge to it. We also have just paper, Xerox paper, or maybe it's done on rugged craft cardstock. These are things to be aware of. The style, the thickness of the paper. Is it hard-bound and embossed? Classy versus expensive. When I say classy, I've been to some restaurants. Again, that Giada menu was a very heavy embossed menu with the logo on the exterior. That's nice. No negative to that. Maybe it doesn't match brand of a pizzeria, and they're super expensive. And people steal them. Be aware, people steal menus. That's a thing. It's like an old lady thing. Stealing menus is a thing. I'm like, why'd you steal it? Oh, well, I just wanted to take it. Why would you think that that's okay? Well, I paid money at your restaurant. I'm like, that menu costs more than your meal. That happens. So I don't like to spend money on menus that can fit in a purse either. With all that being said, go for the non-cliche. Go for something you haven't seen. The last 4 menu iterations I've done, I've tried to create something I haven't seen. I had a wood board right now where I have a piece of twine and I basically attached the printed menu to a board. It looks different, and I look to do things in a non-cliched way. Icons in the page with a legend. We mentioned gluten-free, healthy options. Healthy options, especially if you are in a more metropolitan area, the little leaf, because a leaf tells me it's healthy, is something that's becoming more pervasive. Photos or not, big question. This is a no-brainer to me that if you do photos, they should be photos of your restaurant. With that said, many menu companies, fine, upstanding menu companies will offer, oh, you don't have a photographer? We'll just give you some stock photos. Don't do that. That's bad. If it looks too good to be true, or usually also, they don't look too good to be true. They look like they were taken in 1998 because they were, and they don't look like your product, so you're already disappointing the customer. You're being unimpressive by default out the gate, and it's a failure. Taking photos is super easy nowadays. Portrait mode on an iPhone is pretty damn good nowadays. So if you're not aware, if you think you could do it, first off, hire a photographer. A photo shoot for food done decently should be in the $300 to $500 range. You can get someone who will charge $5,000 because they'll charge $5,000, but you can get someone with some talent that'll do 300 to 500. The debate for a lot of you, if you're suburb versus metropolitan, will be how kitschy should I get? How many logos should I do? How funsy should I be? That's a debate that you're going to need to have. I'll tell you the pros and cons of both. Family fun or cool and new, classic or modern. These are the debates. My number one thing I want to say to you is be you. Be you. If you have a story, which you most likely do because you're a human being that's aged in this world, sell that. Don't aspire to be something you're not. If you have a great history in your family of being car racers, put that on there. If you were firefighters, do that. If you came from Florida and now you live in Ohio, do something that relates to it. Maybe have the names of your menu relate to streets you grew up on, but do something that resonates to you, because that means you're more passionate about it. And if your passion level is at here, then you can hope that your staff's passion level gets to about here. If your passion level is in the range, you are living a high dream if you think your staff is ever going to care up here. So get excited about your food to this level, and your staff hopefully can get to this level, and you can lead by example. Physical menus. So here we have your run-of-the-mill, 3-panel, stock menu. It abides by the rules of the eye going to the top right. It's a little busy for 2019. I would say 2009, this is pretty on point. Little busy for 2019. That's not saying there's anything horribly wrong with that. It's in color, which is a plus, but evaluate it and look at it. The letters in white will pop. There's a lot to be said about font theory. The thing that the eye registers the most is black on white, but it's boring. If you get a lot like yellow on red, the eye can't catch that. So you have to be aware how much can a person or customer process what you're putting out there. Here, your classic, overly done, doesn't gradient level, bad photos in the corners that I don't know what they relate to, overdone amount of food items. This is what not to do. Hey, it's an Italian guy. Look, he's a cartoon and he's Italian, because we can tell because he has a chef coat and a hat and he's throwing pizza in the air, and every cliche about Italian culture all at once. Do that if you want. I've done it in the past. A lot of the stuff I'm saying not to do is because I learned not to do it. Because at one point in time, I was like, well, I guess I better do this crap. If you don't want to do it, no one's putting a gun to your head. Do something that you dig. As time has gone on, especially in gentrified areas, you're going to start to see the clipboard. Cool clipboard with a clipboard that you would never see sold at Office Depot, but it's fine. It's 2019. The problem with things like this is they last about 3 years. So this was big in 2015. It starts to become, okay, I get it. Clipboard, cool. That's going to be in your college towns. It's going to be in your a little bit higher price point place, or at least trying to get to a higher price point. If you're not on the cutting edge of your customer base, you could still fly with this. If you're in the heart of Austin trying to do a pizzeria, it's a little dated. It depends on your customer base and how advanced into the scene they are. Carbone, great restaurant. Embossed menu, this is how the check is presented, with their logo as a C in there. If you're going for the creme de la creme, this says, hey, you're going to spend some money. It's a pro and a con, because that could be off-putting to a suburban area, but it could be a big pro of, hey, I want to go to the best in town. If you really want to be that level of upper echelon, which is not the norm, that's your option. Again, Carbone, I like this menu a lot because of the simplicity of it, the classic lines that separate things, the bold, and also, if you get to go, it's very nice. Rum cart, it's very good. Alcohol, we enjoy. Then, this is Queen Restaurant in Brooklyn. I went there doing some R&D. This screams 1980s, just screams it. You got your slip-in, you got the brass edge. If you didn't know what I was talking about, the little brass edge corner. This says you are in a dated restaurant with old people who like to have their Dr. Pepper heated up. That's a thing. That's a real thing. I say to you, my humble advice, let this die. Don't do this. You can, if you're going for the geriatric demo, that hot 65 plus demo. So here's my first menu. This is my 22 years old, 2005 menu. Bask in my failure. Bask in how shitty this is. What did I do wrong? Well, my logo is not in vector. I was afraid no one would know that Andolini's is a pizzeria, so I tried to shove in pizzeria and Italian restaurant. I sold anything I could sell, because if I could sell it, I should, because I want to make money, right? So I should sell anything I can. That is not a good idea. My new mantra 3 years after opening was all killer, no filler. If it's not the best, if I'm not super stoked about it, if my passion level for the item is not here, I do not sell that item. We got to have kid stuff, so give them corn dogs. We got to do fried mac and cheese. Kids are like that. Every single thing that is very reactive. I didn't lead. I just said, this is what people like, right? Okay, then I'll do that. I failed, so you may not fail today. I give you that. Then we grew on to, hey, I got my logo in vector. Again, kitschy, Italian. I'm in a suburb. My first restaurant for the 6 years, I was one store, was in a suburb of Tulsa. Then I moved to the heart of Tulsa and had to change my logo because people showed up dressed up to go on a date to my restaurant, which blew my mind. People were dressed up. They looked good to eat my pizza on a date. That had never happened. I thought they were lost. This menu tells you you're not coming here on a date. You're coming here with your kids. And we're the safe, kid-friendly place, which if that's what you're going for, right there. If you're not, then don't do this. Buy our family for yours. Quick note about family. My grandfather crafted these recipes when he got off the boat from Italy and 30 minutes in had created a restaurant that he sold his soul for and walked 30 miles in the snow even though Manhattan's not 30 miles long. That type of stuff doesn't really work anymore. If you want to do it, it's not bad. It doesn't hurt you. It shouldn't be your main focus of marketing. That was very big from, I'd say, 1997 till 2010. Around that time, then, science marketing started to become a thing, or at least sourcing. So I'm using these DOP San Marzano tomatoes with this mozzarella that's a low moisture, part skin with a provolone mixture, blah, 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 blah. Science, food. That was the predominant thing. It was based in logic, reasoning, and science. Here's the thing. All that's kind of been gone out the window. And as much as we're going to talk about menus today, the next generation of people are looking at their phone, they see a photo of it, and they say, I want that. I want the thing on the photo from Instagram. Well, I don't know hold on, let me look. But I want that. Menus and things of that nature are now subservient to great photos. So as time goes on, things are going to shift. Buy our family for yours. If you're proud of your family and that's what you want to sell as the base of your brand, great. But you need to modify and have things that also talk about science, and then just having kick-ass photos and being on top of mind awareness is how you keep pushing your agenda further. So here is my not fully crappy menu, but this is a 13-year-old menu. Photos that I took the photos and then spent around $200 on InDesign, Classroom in a Book, and Photoshop. Before you could do that on YouTube, learned how to do this and cropped and put it into a menu. Not bad for 24 years old using InDesign and Classroom in a Book. Nonetheless, I would not do this today. Then it was, okay, get rid of the photos and get it all on one sheet. Beauty of one sheet, easy to distribute. You could put it on inserts in Valpak and things of that nature. Again, back when that mattered, it doesn't matter as much anymore. Then I said, okay, I'm starting all over. My brand went to Tulsa proper, and I wanted to do something not cliched. I use a script font. I actually wrote it out first and then decided to use a font to script it out. And some older people got mad at it. I can't read this. Okay. That's okay with me. It was cool. It was different. And I progressed the scene. And when people saw this, it said, oh, wow, I've never seen that done before. Now, I'm not saying go out and make a legal pad tomorrow because that's the thing that's going to save your business. I am saying it was unique. Unique is closer to impressive than doing what's been done before, and that progressed my brand. This is where I am today. Very simple, but standardized. I don't have a lot of explanations in the items. It's regimented, it's focused, and I rely on my servers to speak to the product. I don't have in-depth explanations of each item here. I'm relying on the servers. And I'll tell you this, I haven't had to change this in 3 years because this is working. I will have to change it in the next 24 months. That's a fact. But this is working currently. Price theory on your menu. Again, gravity. You've seen it all your life. Here's the theory behind it. $7.99, $7.95, $8 with the dollar sign, or a straight up 8. Which one's for you? This is a debate. If a JCPenney is killing it in your town, $7.99 is for you. I don't know if that's too hardcore to the JCPenney fans in the crowd. Quick JCPenney story. So JCPenney got with Ellen DeGeneres to do an ad for the Super Bowl, I want to say in 2015. JCPenney comes out the gate saying, here's the thing, we've been insulting your intelligence for the last decade. We're going to stop saying we're going to stop saying Levi's jeans normally $50 marked down to $35. We're just going to sell it to you for $35. We're not going to do any more discounts. People showed up, the jeans were $35. They're like, well, I'm not paying full price. What is this? They used to be discounted. They're like, no, but it's actually the same price. It's actually even a little cheaper. But you used to give a discount. These are not discounted jeans. These are full price $35 jeans. So price awareness. People that were JCPenney customers had been pre-programmed and trained to go for the discount. If they'd stopped providing the discount, they could have been $1 jeans. And it would have been, I'm not paying full price for these jeans. $7.99, like, hey, I'm not spending over $8 on an appetizer. $7.99, okay, all right, you got me. I'll do it. $7.95, $7.99's kind of cooler cousin. $7.95 is like, hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna be like 1 cent away from $8. I'm a clearly 5 times further away from $8 than my cousin who's just lying to you, because that's $8, but I am significantly cheaper. I'm $7.95. It's your call. If you're gonna have the $7.99 customer is the same as the $7.95 customer, so might as well get the 4 cents. $8 with a dollar sign. Here's the fun thing about dollar signs. What does the dollar sign send as a signal to your brain? If you don't know this, the dollar sign sends a signal to your brain that this is money. I'm going to be spending money. The 8 on its own does not send that signal as much. I am not kidding when I say that. The dollar symbol sends your brain into the evaluative side of the brain. The evaluative side of the brain that says, oh, this is a business transaction where I will actually spend money. The 8 is like, okay, there's an 8. I don't know why. I can't define science. I just receive it and then work with it. That's how the brain processes things. There is the evaluative side, and then there's a side of your brain that you'll be at around 10:30 tonight when you say, yeah, let's bet on black. That's the buying side of your brain. That's the side of your brain that you want the customer to stay at. It's the side of the brain that there's thousands upon thousands of people that work day and night in Las Vegas to make sure you stay in when you walk the casino floor, that you stay on the buying side of the brain. The buying side of the brain done with the server. 2 examples. This is a classic, a Pizza Expo classic. I did not create this. There is this statement. Would you like to spend $2.25 more for extra cheese on that pizza? That's an evaluative statement. That sends red flags all up the wazoo in my brain grapes. The other side of my brain, if I say, you order the pizza, extra cheese on that? Extra cheese on that is an invitation to a party with cheese and mozzarella, population U. People like that. People say yes to that. People don't like to be sold to. People like to be suggested to. And for some reason, an 8 without a dollar symbol is a suggestion. This is probably what you're going to spend on this pizza, even though it's a fact. Is it listed as caprese antipasto with dot 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 8, or caprese antipasto space 8? Here's the weird thing about this is if the price all lines up with itself, I can look at the prices and compare them. And it's easier for me to say, okay, look down this line, which is the most expensive one? That's what some customers will do. Some customers that are price aware more than they are experience driven will go and look at that. We don't want them doing that. We want them to say, which is the best one that I want to eat the most? And to do that, you keep the 8 just a few spaces after the item, and you can see the 8 is a smaller font than the caprese antipasto's font. Meanwhile, up top there with the dots, it's just as big as caprese antipasto. So it carries just as much weight and value as the item. We want it to be, here is the most perfect caprese antipasto you've ever had in your life. We're so proud of it. It's so magical. And it's $8. Not, this is a caprese antipasto. It's so great and magical. And for the dollar price of $8, it shall be yours. Because if they carry the same amount of weight, I get to go to the evaluative side of my brain, which is not where we want our customer. Is your price based upon what the other guy is charging, what you think it's worth, or what you think the market will bear, or actual food cost? So here is price theory basics. Typically, a new restaurant will do one of two things: straight up food cost, or what the market is, or what the other guy is doing. That's the typical two. So, hey, everyone in town sells a 16-inch pizza for $18, so we got to do that. Or we'll do it 50 cents cheaper. That's one theory. Next is, I want a 25% food cost. This pizza costs me $5 to make. Therefore, it shall be $20 or $19.95 or $99, depending on who you are. Those are two theories. I'm not saying don't do those. You should. But then look at the next most important question. What will the market bear for this price? Don't ask yourself the question, what do you think it's worth? Because that's a dumb question. No one cares what you think. You should ask yourself, what would they be willing to spend? And I have my most expensive pizza on my menu that costs more than my 8-topping combination pizza is a cheese pizza. I have a pizza that is made with fresh, hand-stretched curd to mozzarella, San Marzano DOP tomatoes, fresh basil, olive oil before and after the bake with pecorino on before and after the bake, and the olive oil is done at the table in front of the customer with some pomp and circumstance. It's a cheese pizza. It's a glorious cheese pizza, and I love it, and not just because it pays my bills, but I do love that pizza. I loved it so much that I said, this is what I want people eating. I'm going to throw so much attention and so much just cavalier pageantry to this pizza that you can't help but buy it if you are the experience-driven customer. If you're the value-driven customer, I have pizza by the slice at lunch, all you can eat for $10. They could eat typically 3 slices. My food cost stays on point. I charge $29 for that pizza. I get $29 for that pizza. To you, that is what will the market bear? And if they won't bear that, then how do you shift what they will bear? And you do that through salesmanship. When it comes to food cost, you need to factor in waste, packaging, and if it's super involved, labor. Name theory, moving forward from everything we talked about earlier. What is in a name? A unique name makes it a unique selling point, or even a GUSP, a great unique selling point. Hashtag GUSP. Eggplant parm is eggplant parm until it's unique adjective eggplant parm. Sal's eggplant parm until it's Robusto eggplant parm. I could come up with 1,000 different names. You could as well, and it's your restaurant. Come up with something to make it yours. There's many styles that you could choose when it comes to naming theory, but you need to decide on one. You can't really go across the board. So one theory would be restaurant or reference names. Clemenza to the Godfather, leave the cannoli. Clemenza Spring Street, named after one of the streets in Little Italy. The Appian Way meatballs, named after a street in Rome. I could do that, and that's what I do. A lot of people in Oklahoma and around you, college towns, will do the kitschy name, the T-Rex pizza, the super dope pizza, whatever the brand is, but they know that they're going for kitschy, fun, then that's how they match brand. The inside joke. I've seen this done at a few different places. They named the pizzas after staff members or customers that come in often, like Jed. I have an inside joke of the Tembissimo. The Tembissimo pizza, because I have a sick, dark sense of humor, is my all-meat pizza that's named after a horse that killed itself in Chicago in the 80s. It's named after a dead horse. I find that to be hilarious. I don't tell my customer that, but I find it hilarious that I have a bunch of customers that eat the Tembissimo named after a dead horse. Tembissimo meaning son of Tembi, who won, I want to say, not the Gold Stakes, but one of the 3 horse races. You know what I'm talking about. Italia or Italy, ensalada or salads. Do you want to speak in Italian on the menu? It's a little pretentious when people do it, but hey, if that's your thing and you want to write it in Italian and the secondi and do all that stuff, even though you've never been to Italy, that's totally cool. If you want to do that, that's fine. If you're going for that level of upper echelon, know that it can be off-putting to certain people. I'm not really in the South in Tulsa, but I don't plan to do that. Even at my high end, I'm about to open a fine dining pasta restaurant. I don't plan on doing that there. I also don't say mozzarella when I talk to people. I say mozzarella because I'm in America and we won the wars. If you're asking which wars, all of them, we won them all. It's mozzarella. Name theory. The menu phrasing. The Italian deli sandwich with prosciutto, salami, roasted red pepper, spinach, basil, mozzarella, olive oil. Or the Italian deli straight from Rome with prosciutto, Genoa salami, in-house roasted red pepper, spinach, basil, house-made mozzarella, and Italian imported extra virgin olive oil. You gotta try it. That's my radio voice. You're welcome. That is what it reads like when you put stuff on there. Again, I'm not gonna say don't do it, but you can't do it for 3 items and then not for the rest. Have some level of coherence to your menu. Either you write in sentence form or you write where these are nouns. Either everything has an adjective or you just adjective to what I said, adjective the item name, but not adjective heavily in the content. I also lowercase everything in my description because I want the big bold to be the word, the menu item, and then everything else is explanation, but I'm not writing a novel. It's just, this is what's in it. Sentence versus basic, punctuation and capitals versus uniformity. Busy, a busy menu can work. Sleek, I believe, works better, but know your choice. Choose it across your brand. Legal jargon. Never, ever, ever forget to have legal jargon. Write legal jargon on taxes, foodborne illness, and anything else you can put on your menu. You can get sued if that's not put on your menu. I said earlier, if we can make it, we will. Why not? Because if it's not fantastic, I'm not putting it on the menu. If we should make it, we will, is how I operate now. I believe in lean and mean because, like I said earlier, it is hard to be large and in charge. A massive menu is also very hard on your staff. What will happen is their muscle memory on making those food items will start to suffer, and you'll get an order that never gets put in, and then they'll be like, wait, how do we make that? You don't want the staff saying that. If it's fantastic and the end-all be-all of what represents you, put it on the menu. Anything that is not that should not be on your menu. So now you know what you want, and knowing the rest is half the battle. The other half is actual design. I suggest you hire a pro, a professional to design your menu. I at first did not do that. you, in this day and age, should have someone who has who has a degree in graphic design, who understands font theory and things of that nature. Again, they should know menu theory along with that. Some people can make a very pretty menu that sucks at selling, so know the difference. If you hire someone to do this, they should be a customer of yours that knows your brand and loves your food. I do not suggest having this be done by someone who does not live in your state. Do not hire your nephew's buddy, or your nephew's son, Connor, or your friend, or anyone that you relate to, or anyone that you're doing a favor with. Here's a long explanation of why not to hire Connor. Because Connor's home from college, and I swear he's going to do a good job. He's just got to get done by 5 because he's got a recital to go pick up his nephews from. So there's a long, drawn-out explanation. If you hear that explanation from someone you're trying to do business with, they're not in business with you. They're doing you a favor. And people don't owe you anything when they're doing you a favor. So hire a professional. Who to hire? Don't hire a non-professional. What did we learn today? Don't hire a non-professional to work for your business. If your brand and logo are very good, keep that. If they're not, get a pro to redesign your logo. When they design it, they should do it in InDesign. That is my suggestion. What is Adobe InDesign? Adobe InDesign is a program sold in the Adobe suite. It's about $30 a month now. It used to be $300. Now it's $30 a month. And every magazine you read uses Adobe InDesign. You could use Microsoft Publisher. You could use Word. Those are all possible to work with. There's less ability to manipulate things. They work perfectly fine. If you're going to print your menu on a daily basis, you could do that. Otherwise, I highly suggest getting a rudimentary knowledge of Adobe InDesign, having your menu built in that, and then modify whatever small items you need to do here or there, and then send it to print. That will save you thousands of dollars. That is not a joke. That will save you thousands of dollars. Graphic designers are typically anywhere from $50 to $100 an hour. If you change your menu, 3-4 times a year, that's going to be around $3,000 to $5,000 a year in graphic design. Or you can learn it yourself in about a half hour. Get a menu you love that you can manipulate on your terms, again, without paying. Learn InDesign. You can do this with Classroom in a book. There's also a program online called Lydia. These are easy ways to learn how to do menu development, menu manipulation that you can do on your own. How many people in here know how to fix their oven when it goes down? Okay, about 1/4 of you. You know that that's a pain in the ass on a Saturday night to have someone come out and replace one little drive shaft thing of a oven. Saves you thousands of dollars. If you're that type of person who says, yeah, I can do that, then you can do InDesign. Everyone in this room, 5 of you probably can't do InDesign, but the rest of you can't. I'm not just going to blanket say all of you are geniuses. All right. Descriptors. Nothing or everything. Like I said before, make sure you have a lot of detail or just the facts. If you do describe something, do it uniquely. So here are great unique selling points. These are classics. No freezer, no microwave, fresh mozzarella made twice daily, all salad dressings made in-house. These are mine. They are not cliched, in my opinion. It's more all the things that we slice daily, all the things that we make in-house, a list of those. These are things for my staff to be aware of and explain to the customer when they're explaining a menu. When it comes to our dough, our sauce, our cheese, we can say dough fresh daily, sauce made daily, cheese, blah, blah, blah. It's pretty done. It's pretty cliched. So when I'm selling the sizzle, if you're going to put this on a menu or teach your servers to do it, again, the choice you need to make, server selling or menu selling, 36-hour fermentation dough, imported San Marzano DOP tomatoes, California low moisture part skim mozzarella to our exact specifications that we talk to the supplier and mandate that they do exactly what we want the mozzarella to be. I said already, science versus family. 10 years ago, ad logic was to go family story. It's still possible, but in the meat culture of today, the process and the science has developed a lot, and now the grandma days are done, and again, being self-fulfilled, something that really matters more than it ever did before is your restaurant Instagrammable? Is there a cute spot where I look good with cute light because I'm adorable, And I can have a little glass and put it up, or a beer, and it's fun and it's frilly, whether it's for a girl or a guy's Instagram. It doesn't make me feel good about taking a picture of myself there. If it doesn't, you need to change up your design game. I need to feel pretty at your restaurant, guy or girl, and take a photo of myself if you're gonna keep surviving in the social media landscape. When it comes to the menu for your kitchen, the menu should serve the customer by helping the kitchen, not hurting them. So keep the names simple. You could print them out in the kitchen different than what's on your menu, obviously, but you don't want to have things doubled up. Another mistake I made, I had the Caprese antipasto and then the Caprese pizza. Well, what happened was a customer might say, hey, I'll take a Caprese. Server put it in wrong, or I had the back where they ordered the Caprese correctly, but the staff read it wrong. The name should be very, very distinctly different so that your staff does not get confused. When it comes to other menus in your restaurant, more likely than not, most of you are going to need a paper menu of some sort, a to-go menu. It should follow the same general rules of what your in-house menu does. A menu board, the theory on that shifts the thing I said earlier about going to the right side, the eye shifting to the right. That's not as nearly as focal. What does happen is people look immediately for the word combo. Where's combo, menu board, combo. Okay, I'm buying that. So you got to make sure your combo is a very profitable combination, and you'll be making money on a menu board. Whether it's a lighted up board, as in a TV screen, it's the same theory as your menu, but you need to make sure that it's big enough to see from at least 15 feet away. For all the things we've talked about today, if you're going to make all this work, you need to seek success. Here is my process for determining a menu, or what I'm going to do when I'm putting a new menu item on my menu. So this is my process. First, I come up with something that I believe is unique. Example, from scratch Caesar dressing on a Caesar salad. Then I test it with my staff. Then friends, then family, and honest people. People that don't mind telling me their honest opinion. People that don't mind saying that, hey, you look like you gained 10 pounds. That's someone who should evaluate your menu. Then revise it. Taste test it again with people who do not care about you, i.e. customers or people that don't even know it's your restaurant's food. Like just, hey, random person at a library. Tell me if you like this. Prepare in bulk with your vendors. Figure out which items you will need to purchase, sample them, choose the correct ones. Cost it out, make sure your intended recipe is cost effective. Your base should be figuring out food costs, then determining what the market will bear. If it cannot be made exactly as you want to make it on a large scale, revise it with the ingredients and start over. Nail it down, do a bulk recipe for whatever it's going to be. Any bulk recipe items need to be done in grams. If you're not doing your menu in grams, you're going to have fluctuations in the end product. Then put it in an easy to read Excel format on Dropbox for your staff to understand. Train the staff with an uninterrupted meeting, not in the middle of your day. Demonstrate the food item. Train them on how to make it, how to execute it until they have it down and you've seen them make it in front of you. After that, managers should know your expectation of the product and have an incentive or punishment for proper execution of it. Try it in different ways, have it secret shopped, and then repeat the food item from starting over to the most sold to the easiest to implement. If you're wondering how do you train staff, Excel and an iPhone is how you train staff. You train them by making a video of how you made it, putting it on a drive-based solution, sending it out with photos. These are some of mine. Here's how I know I have a menu item done effectively. Here's my pepperoni pizza. You can see it's not, hey, 55 pepperonis on a 20-inch. It's this many around the exterior, then the next level, then the final. No room for ambiguity. That's how I do my entree line. That's how I do my tea. Yes, tea. Starts with a bag of tea and then 2 cups of sugar. Here is what a cup of sugar looks like. That might sound stupid, but when you've seen it made incorrectly just one time a month, you start to reevaluate what stupid is. Here's a daiquiri. Here's exactly what it is in it and for my bartenders to make it. Here's a bulk recipe item. Here's a catering item. and how to do all that. Again, Excel and an iPhone. So new menu implementation, ingredients added to the order guide, in-house menu description, and the price is set. To-go menu matches up with the in-house. The release of the menu coincides with the POS price update. The online menu coincides with the update of the price. The online menu update of description and picture. The front of house is then trained on the selling points and incentives for selling said new item. Then I market the item with a blitz of an email. I do press on it. I do social media. Now, I put all that to paper, not for your benefit, but that's my list for my benefit, because I need to look at that thing and say, what do I need to do next? I standardize my stuff so that I don't screw it up or forget a step. I'm a big believer in having a system and solution for everything. If you don't define it, it defines you. So that's my setup. I always like to thank, whenever I do a speech, Bill Oakley, Pete LaChapelle, Jeremy White, Tony Gimignani, who brought me into this industry about 15 years ago. I'm on the World Pizza Champion team. If you see guys with this jacket, that means that we are basically a crew of people looking to further this industry by pushing the boundaries of food, of process, and of education. And everyone at Andolini's, along with everyone at Pizza Today. I own and operate Genco Consulting. If you are interested in some of these lists or what else is out there, I don't do consulting as my primary. It's a secondary thing I do on the side, but I live in this business, so I'm pretty good at it, and I just choose who I work with because I don't have the time to work with everyone. With that being said, I have 2 minutes for questions. So let's take 2 questions, and then I'll give some final thoughts and we'll wrap it up. Anyone have a question? Yes, sir. It's a very, I asked that question and I got the most depressing answer ever, which was, don't do it. And I was like, well, we're a little bit too far in, buddy. Here's the best advice. I had my grandpa say to me, Michael, what are you going to do when you're done with the restaurant? What do you mean, Grandpa? After you're 22, once this is done, what will you do then? Assuming my failure. And I said, nope, this is it. That's what's up. I'm giving up my 20s to this. This is my life. This is my career. This is my choice. This is me. And Grandpa, you need to get on board or just don't come into the restaurant. I think at that point, it solidified what I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. And when you make that decision, your family life will suffer, your mental stability will suffer, but you'll basically say, I'm on a course for success. And if your brain doesn't say that, this ain't for you. So the new operator, it's basically, all right, Buttercup, are you game or are you not? And if you don't have a hard-ass answer to that, this ain't for you. I'll leave it on that. To everyone else here, I'm going to be around. You can say hi to me. My email is Mike, M-I-K-E, @andopizza.com. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you don't say, that was all right. He was okay. I hope that you have a great 3 days at Pizza Expo. Take as much as you can from it. Thank you so much.